And we should now be live on YouTube. We are indeed. Okay. Let's rock and roll with the new setup. Cool. Happy with that. Okay. Let us begin. G'day, Sean. How are ya? I got a new setup, by the way, mate. So we get a brand new camera, and I've got an old microphone here hanging. So hopefully my audio with me talking sounds a lot more crisp, and you should be getting a much better video quality as well. Yeah. Hopefully that works. That is the plan. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just continue from where we left off. Painted up a few Necrons so far with these green blades. Now we need to do the undersides, the exact same. So we're going to sketch out those. Nice smooth, thin layers of paint when we're doing this, as always. Mr. Skinster, what's happening, mate? How you going? So let's sketch in these values. Probably while we're at it, we can do the other one too, I think. So we want to do the opposite to what we did on the front side. I think is the way we want to do it. Very thin, because we can come back and glaze and tidy up later. But for now, that's what we want. Manix, hi, how you going? We are painting some little figurines. These are called Necrons from Warhammer 40,000. Skinstar, I'm definitely going Necrons once I'm done with my Space Wolf army. Very nice. Very nice. Very good choice. I do like my robot boys. So, if you haven't seen before, we're just doing the generic green for the Necrons. Colors we're using, dark green from Vallejo is the base coat. Scorpy green is going to be pretty much our highest green value. When we want a little bit more, we're going to add a tiny bit of pale yellow to the mix, and that'll kind of add that little bit of punch, turn it into a bit of like a light green, lime green color. But primarily, you're just going to be blending in between these two colors on your wet palette. And that's how you get that sort of gradient effect, as you can see here. And thank you, Skinstar, appreciate it. So that's what we're going to aim to do on these other sides of the blade. but it does take a little bit of time because there's a lot of sort of back and forth with the colors to get it to the right sort of amount of green on each side. Just gotta have a bit of patience when we do this. And at the moment we're just sketching in those highlights. So a bit more of the blending will come in later. We just kind of want to pick out where we're going to have the brightest sections. And then we can go back and forth with the blending as we need. Now that that's sort of dry, if we kind of mix in that Scorpio green and dark green together, we should get some sort of mid-tone color that we're going to use to blend in that darkest green with the light green colors. Kind of like this. They'll start to pull those colors together just how we want it. Ah, you're back, Manix. Welcome back. Not the most riveting stuff, to be honest, but a very important step and a very kind of crucial method to learn to paint if you really want to get good at pushing your models to the next level. I think it's really worth learning how to blend. I'm not an expert by any means. There's some way better painters out there than I am, but definitely something that I would actively work on if we're trying to get better at miniature painting, which I'm sure we're all trying to do. Who doesn't want to get better at painting? As you can sort of see there, what I want to do is push the light pigments towards the lightest area, because that's where they will settle at the end of the brush. It makes it a lot harder if you kind of go against that. So what I mean here is, like, I start from the dark area and I pull it into the blend like that. It kind of mixes the two pigments together, like so. So rather than going from light to the dark area, I'm going from that dark to the light area, like that. And then for this side, obviously the light's on the bottom side, so pulling down into the light area. Then back and forth again. Just kind of want to blend that mid-tone in a little bit more. Like so. And do the same on this bit. There we go. Letting that dry. And then what I'm going to do is add in a little bit of that pale yellow color, as I said previously. To try and push that highlight a little bit further, if we can. Just on the very tips. Thanks, Mannix. Appreciate it. So just pushing that almost into a lime green territory now. Covering slightly less area. Like that. You can always come back and tone it down, blend it in a bit more if you need to. If you went a bit too crazy with it. Lost a little bit of that green, so try and bring it back by adding a touch more. Again with the mid-tones. You just gotta have patience when you're doing this. That's the only thing I can say, is that patience goes a long way. Ez, thank you for the rose. I missed that one. Appreciate it, and thank you for the gumdrop buttons. Appreciate it. So I'm kind of happy with how this blend is coming along, to be honest. I think we might need to just work kind of in the shadow area a little bit more. And make that a little bit smoother. So let's push that. Smooth it out. And then we can darken it a little bit further once it's dry. Then we should have a nice finished blade. We can keep working on the other one while we continue. Sleepy46, how long have you been painting? A hardcore painting, I'll probably say a couple of years now, probably about 3.5 years, 4 years maybe. But I've been in the hobby since I was a kid, and I was painting back then for a long time, but stopped through high school and kind of early adulthood. Yeah, good fun. I love it. Tony, thank you very much. Appreciate the kind comments. And thanks, OXP and Mannix. Appreciate it. So that's drying. I'm going to leave that. Don't touch it. You really don't want to touch it when it's kind of that semi-dry look. You get like little puddles, I call them. Very easy to wreck your paint job if you go back over that at that point in time. You just want to leave that and let it fully dry. Otherwise you risk ruining your paint job, which we don't want to do. So while that's drying, let's move over to the other blade and just see if we can keep working on that for the time being. Sleepy, my ex-wife had a huge set of the Swarm. I think they were called Tyranids. Oh, I don't know if I spelled it right. Yeah, exactly right, Tyranids. I'm pretty sure you spelled that right. The bug dudes. Okay. Keep working on that shadow a little bit more. Almost happy with the blend. Just a little bit more work that could be done there. Yep, happy with that. Tidy up this little tide mark that I left. Coming along nicely. Red Rum Pirate, thank you. And Pointless Alibi, thank you very much too. Appreciate you guys. Okay, that's going to be a little bit bright, but we're going to have to work on that blend. See if I can do a little bit of wet blending at this point. While it's still quite wet, I can jump in there and try and feather in those edges. Like so. I think that'll work. I'm just going to keep going. Kind of on a roll here. Take it a little bit darker. So down here. Land it in. Land it in. And you can come back and really tweak it in a second. Just trying to lay down a chunk of paint while we can. Like that. We'll let that dry for now, but I can already see a problem with wet blending here. You can kind of see it's kind of running in areas where you don't want it, but that's okay. Can fix that up in a second. Looks sick. What is the figure you're working on called? This is, I think, Scorptech Destroyer Necron. Favorite Space Marine chapter? Ask Patrick. Oh, I'd have to say I've got like 3: Blood Angels, Black Templars, and Space Wolves maybe. Definitely Blood Angels and Black Templars. They're up there. Jack, you like the base? Thanks, mate. Well, this is what they're going to be fully finished like, on a nice sort of Mars red looking base to finish. That's going to be the fully finished result. Jai, hey, I'm painting some Grey Knights and I want to do some sick Necron purple swords. Got any tips? Ooh, purple color. I mean, you could try what I'm doing, just use purple colors, obviously with the blending, because I quite like the effect that you get when you blend things together like so. You can kind of see here we've made it blend across in areas we don't want. If we can tidy that up. Problem working with thin paints. I don't know, the tips, it depends. So I'm only using 3 colors for this. So you, essentially for you, all you'd want is a dark purple, a light purple, and maybe like a light pink. And I think that's how you could get a nice blend using sort of purple colors instead of green. That would be my go-to. I don't have any examples because I don't really have purple paints, or a whole range of them. But that would be my go-to for you, my friend. Use some sort of triad of colors. No worries, Manix. Have a good one. Thanks for sticking around for so long. What you could also do to avoid this mistake that's happened, see how it's kind of blended over, painting off screen. See, it's kind of blended over from the previous side that we're painting, because obviously you're working very thin in wet paint. You could just tape off the side that you finished, or use putty or whatever you want to call it. Whatever you fancy in terms of like a masking medium. That's what I would do if I was really trying hard and don't want to ruin mistakes. Ruin previous paint jobs, I should say. We're nearly finished with this sword, I think. Very close to calling it done. And I'm going to try something now that I have this new camera. You're painting a Necron Marine at the moment, Brendan. Very nice. What chapter are you painting up? So, I'm going to see if I can zoom in nice and close for you guys and show you the edge highlighting. Hopefully that keeps the quality alright for you. Ultramarines, hey? Very nice. Let's go in with this highlight color now. Try and edge highlight our blade as best we can. And then what you can do then is also come back and tidy up your blends. But this just kind of helps to frame what you've done so far. It really kind of makes the effect come to life. The focus is not working too much. Back out a little bit. Truly right, thank you. Thanks, Bogan. How you going? keep him in frame for you guys. There we go. Now, the blend is probably not as smooth as I would like so far. So what I'm going to do is continue to just work that in a little bit more, because you can kind of see the bigger picture once you start to add on those edge highlights. And it kind of makes it a bit more obvious where some of the blends maybe aren't as good. So like here, very stark in the dark area. Not a fan of that, so let's fix that up. And then what I want to do is push the lime green color a little bit more. Whacking some more on my wet palette. It's drying up too quickly. It's kind of work in here a little bit. Okay. Getting closer now to where we want it. So we'll let that fully dry, and then we can go in and try and manually paint in that highlight, edge highlight color, which is going to be a little bit tricky, but we'll manage. Almost finished. May as well work on the other blade while we can. It's a fine balance between going too dark and too light, and I don't think I've cracked it yet. Okay. And that one's looking alright. I think this bit of the blade is looking so much better than it was before. So let's continue with the edge highlight. So all we're going to do is add a little bit of that pale yellow into our Scorpy green. and try and trace it. Let's see if we can do that. Oh, she's a bit shaky, but it looks all right. It's a weird angle too, because I feel like the base and the handle's kind of making it a bit hard for me to reach properly. Try and make this as straight as possible. I think that's not too bad. I'm happy with that. I think that looks pretty good. Quite on par with the front. Yep, I would say. Looking pretty good. Now, what we can do is fill in those gaps where the kind of symbols on the gun, or not the gun, the blade are, a bit of black. So we'll water down some black, fill in those kind of recesses on the blade. If it gets over the side, just wipe it away. Quick and easy fix. This just helps to define the shapes a little bit more, which is exactly what you want. Definition helps. And then we're going to go back in with our highlight color and just pick out those edges as well. So, let me get to position. Try and keep it there so you guys can see what I'm doing. Really just trying to highlight those edges. As best we can. And if it's a bit chonky in places, we can come back and tidy that up. But you also got to remember this is such a tiny space. Sometimes good enough is good enough. So that is pretty much close to being done. I will just tidy up one section. I saw I go a bit too fat on it. Like so. Nate's Miniatures. Hey mate, how you going? And we're good. Now, what we can do is just add a little bit of white to our wet palette. And this is just like a final touch I would add to really make it look cool. Is kind of on all the little joins where things are joining, like the two corners meet. Just add a dot of white. Kind of makes it look that tiny bit shinier. Totally optional, but I think it's kind of cool. Kalohi, love from Hawaii, brother. Nice stuff. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. So add those dots there. We didn't add it to the front last time, so let's add it now. Perfect. Looking cool. We'll do the same on the back side. As I said, it is totally optional. It's just a step that I like to do. I think it looks cool. Cool. Now that is pretty much a finished blade on this side. I can go back and finish the one on the other side too. How long have I been painting for, Nate? Probably say about 3.5 years now. Kind of pretty regularly. But I've been in the hobby for so much longer, since I was a kid. But I wasn't obviously any good at painting back then. Stopped as well from the hobby for a long time. And got back into it over like COVID and stuff. Yeah, thank you. How long have you been into the hobby, mate? Okay, let's work back on these blends. We can do a little bit more work here. Make it look that little bit better. Since 1996. Nice. My year of birth. Very good year. Best year there is. These blends are getting there. They're looking not too shabby. Gooning seagull, eh, mate? Wonder from down under. Love it. Too bright, too bright. No, 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 don't like that. Undo. There we go. Joe the man, can you play Predator by Dreader? Unfortunately not, my friend. I can only use these royalty-free stream beats, which is pretty shit. But otherwise I get muted on YouTube. And I don't want that happening. So unfortunately you're stuck with these generic tunes, otherwise I'd be playing so many more bangers, believe you me. Okay. Once I've done this, we can get close to finishing off this model, I think. Need to learn that I don't need to paint a model to completion during one session. Yeah, exactly right. Mr. Seagull. Sometimes it's more rewarding once you finish it over a few sessions. But I know the feeling of just wanting to get it all done. Okay, let's do that edge highlighting now. Sweet. Don't know how I can show you guys this because the other blade is kind of blocking the view, but I'll try my best. you go to fidget spinner. I do not have a fidget spinner, mate. Okay, now let's highlight the middle. This is going to be bloody tricky, but let's see how we go. So, slightly thinned paint, not too much, because you don't want to have to do this multiple times. You kind of want to get it done in one pass. If you can. Trying to make as straight a line as possible. Not too bad. Happy with that. Again, that's good. And now this is the hard part. It's kind of where it curves. Let's see if we can do that. It's going a bit fat. That'll have to do. Not my best work, but not too bad, to be honest. And I can go around and highlight the other edges in a minute. But that is the result so far. Pretty happy with that. Overall, looking decent, I think. Can go and back and forth and tweak the blends later. As you can see here, it happened again on this one. Because we didn't block it off, which we probably should for future models, is it's bled over into our finished parts of the model. That's okay, you just got to go back in and fix that with a bit more blending. That'll take some time, but you guys get the idea. It's a bit of patchwork. Something like that. Don't need to fix it all right now. Baby steps to fixing it. Anyway, back to this. What we want to do, I've still got the black on my palette, so thin it down again a little bit because it's somewhat dried. And those recesses we want to pick out with our black paint. So let's do that. Wiping away excess, because it is thin enough. You can kind of just wipe away areas if you get some overspill. And it just leaves it in the recesses, which is exactly what we want. We're kind of cheating. We're kind of treating it like a bit like an oil paint, being able to wipe it away, even though it's not an oil paint. We just pretend it is. There we go. Brendan, you play 40k or just like painting minis? Like painting minis, to be honest. Not really much into the game. Except the black there. Leon, beautiful Necron painting, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it, mate. Just gonna pick out these areas where we got some overspill. Let's finish off the edge highlighting. Just on the bits that we just outlined with the black. So we should get we going here. Add a little bit of edge highlighting. Just to really finish off the effect. Hopefully it stays in focus. Try my best. Now that is pretty much a finished blade. So that's how you do that, blending. What we'll do is add those white dots, and I'll continue to repair while I read some of the comments. Some stuff off screen. Whoops, my bad. Necrons tonight, eh? We are. Hatman, like to see some Xbox Terminators. Aldebaran, how you going, mate? The OG Miyagi, Necron painting sesh. I started playing them in 10th edition, intend to try them as my first painted army once I have money. Don't we all wish we had more money? Are there painting mistakes that are specific to Necrons or not really? Necrons are probably one of the easiest factions to paint, I reckon, just with all the dry brushing and just big metal surfaces that make it easy to employ that effect. This blending is probably the hardest part because we're doing it all manually. Of course, you could use an airbrush if you want to, but yeah. Darn Bull, both skillful painter and handsome chill dude. That's all up. Thanks, mate. Funny. What is that name? I'm just going to call you Dominator. What are you painting Necrons for, bud? We're painting it for a commission. That is what we are doing. Carlet. What color did I prime it? I primed it black, but then we used these three paints as an undertone, kind of stipple dry brushing. So we started with dark jade, moved up to green oxide, then went to turquoise. And that is kind of what you can see in the shadow areas. Then what you do is you dry brush with the metallics over top. So if you've got time, Carle, I would say check out, I know you're on TikTok, but I've got all these saved on YouTube because I go live there as well. You can see one of the other sessions we painted it from scratch. I think I showed the whole process of a Necron. If you want to watch that step by step, exactly how we did it, you can check it out there. Manix, you're back. Good to have you back, my friend. So what we're going to do is just quickly whip out the white paint once again. And just do those little dots to really finish off the glint on our blades. Then we can call this little fellow done on the blades. And then there's a couple other little steps I want to do on stream as well while I've got yous. I'm going to whip out the airbrush for some of the steps. Ooh. What's going on here? So really just tapping the brush on those corners, sort of imagining them to be the sharpest points. And these little white dots kind of help sell that effect. I don't know if I did it on this side when I originally did them, so let's just go back in, touch them up. I think I did, but may as well while I've got the paint on my brush. Cool. Alright, now what we want to do is, using the white, pick out all those kind of orbs that are on his body that we want to kind of have like a glow effect. Retribution, trying to glaze my Dark Angel's sword and failing. Help. I wish I could physically help you, my friend. But all I can say is just follow what I did with these swords and you should probably be alright. We've just finished the undersides on 2 of them. Don't know if you were around for that retribution. Hopefully you were. You would have caught some of the way in which we were painting it. Pillowcase, Necron looking sweet, homie. Thank you. Glad you like it. A rose for the bros. Oh, legend. And thank you for the gumdrops. Low-key biggest fan. Thanks. I don't know if bros remember me from past streams. I remember the name, my dude. Definitely remember the name. I have been away for a little while though, which is a shame. Not much time for hobbying previously, but we're back on board now, baby. Got a new setup. Got my new microphone, so hopefully I sound a little bit better. And I have this camera that I've invested a fair bit of dosh, but the quality should be fairly good, as you can see with the zoom. Hopefully that looks alright. So yeah, you guys are gonna get well up in my grill with this painting shit. I just need to work out the best way to position the model so I can paint real close. And you guys can then follow along. So you're gonna paint his eyeballs as well. Just get a touch of white paint there. Happy with that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 4 balls. I think we've got all these balls painted white now. We can probably whip out the airbrush in a second. Baby Assassin, just getting into Warhammer 40k lore, loving it, loving the video games, not into tabletop, love the painting. Pretty much the same as me, mate. I'm not into the gaming, but like the tabletop game, but love everything else at the moment. Did Magnus do anything wrong? That is very contentious. I'm gonna abstain from commenting on that. Yeah, glad you like the zoom. Appreciate that. It was costly, so I've got like a DSLR camera now, which is what you guys are seeing the model through. It took me a while today. I was getting very frustrated because the setup was not working, and I was like, I just dropped a whole bunch of money on this, and it's not fucking working. But it is now, so I'm happy with that. What am I doing while I'm yapping? I'm gonna whip out the airbrush. It's a bit crunchy, so it might need a clean soon. Well, that's not good. I don't know if I can do the airbrushing. See if we can. I'd love to. But she's a bit dirty. Here we go. Yeah, it does cost a pretty penny, pillowcase. Expensive hobby, that's for sure. See if I can... Ooh. This is why you clean your airbrush, friends. You can see there is a glob of paint. Look at that. That is clogging up my airbrush. That is poor maintenance. Should be more vigilant than that. So, let's fire up this bad boy in a second. We're not going to use it for much, to be honest. It's just to help with the glow effect. Parks, just finished my first Deathwatch operative as a one-time thing. Looks sick, but could be better. Hey, I feel like we all finish it proud with it, but then I push myself a little bit further. So you were not alone there, mate. I get that all the time, that feeling. Graham, did I spray bronze first? No, I didn't. I used sort of a dark green blue undercoat and then sprayed, then dry brushed the bronze color over the top. Now, I'm not sure how loud because I've got these, let's see, this new setup. Hopefully the airbrush isn't too loud. If you can let me know, that would be amazing. But that's it running right now in the background. So hopefully you can't hear it too much. Why do I feel like you're taking the piss, Retribution? Oh no, that's no good. Give me a second. Never used to be this loud. Okay. Turned it off for now. But it's primed enough to be able to hopefully spray. So that's no good. All right, hopefully we have to work out how we can fix that, because it used to be able to work without having to turn off my microphone. So really I'm just hitting it with a bit of a spray. Give me a name for my lieutenant. I'm going to say Maximus. Hell yeah, dude. Love it. And we'll kind of get his eyeballs. Like so. Okay, now that glow effect's kind of looking decent. I am going to mute my microphone so you don't hear the airbrush for 2 seconds while I clean it. Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me? Cool. Now, we can finish off this Necron's base, I reckon. That is the plan. So, popping the airbrush away for now, and let's get to painting this base. And we have another finished Necron, which we are going to be very happy about. So, basing. We are going to use German Grey as the base coat color. Thin down, not too much. Nacho Cheese, am I just live on YouTube or stream on other platforms? I'm also live on TikTok as well. Let's wax some more paint on. I feel like the bases use up the most amount of paint because all the texture, paste and all the rocks and stuff just like drink up the paint. It's crazy. There is a skull on the base, so what we're going to do is paint that up too, of course. Nacho. Nice, I popped in a few days ago. This is the same one you were doing, or it's just another one of the army? I can't remember what one I was doing on stream the other day. Perhaps. We've got a couple going on at the moment. So I've got these two. So we've got that one, obviously, that we're painting. This one here might have been the one that we showed earlier. But we also have this kind of beak boy here as well that we're doing. But I thought I'd get close to finishing this one up on stream as well. Retribution, speaking of terrain, I'm finishing up some on the Lieutenant. Very nice. What sort of terrain are you making? Salamanders when? Oh, don't know, my friend, don't know. Gotta keep checking back in. Was the second one. They look amazing. Ah, nice. Very good. Thank you. Alright, wait for this to somewhat dry. We could probably add to the skull while the rest of the base is drying. Retribution's doing a muddy forest base. Some bushes. Nice. I like playing with the muddy texture pastes and effects. I think they're really fun. Really good looking as well. Nacho, is for a commission. How did you start? It is for a commission. Are you asking how I started commission painting? Or... how did I start commission painting? I think it was about 2.5 years ago, maybe. I started just by posting my minis on Instagram, and then I thought, I wonder if people would pay for me to paint minis, because I don't want to keep buying minis. I don't have a whole bunch of money to be spending on new models. So what if I get my painting fix by painting other people's models and also make some cash? So I posted on Facebook. It's like a buy, swap and sell page. Just advertising that I'm open to painting miniatures, obviously showing examples of my own miniatures that I'd painted. And I got a few messages. I think my first ever commission painting was a Chaos Lord. And the rest is history. It's kind of gone from there. It's good to know though, like, there's a lot of stuff you kind of learn with it. You start commission painting, like, obviously you get taxed on it and shit like that. So you're going to be aware of that. I think, you know, doing up proper invoices and things, I kind of treat it like a proper business. Okay. Now, hopefully this dries quick because I wanted to get out the pigment powders and finish him. But it's taken longer to dry than I would hope. What we might do in the meantime is, I noticed that there could probably be a couple of edge highlights added to him, so let's do that while we wait. So we're using Pro Acryl Light Bronze for those edge highlights on his bronze metal body. Focus. There we go. Do you charge per mini or sometimes bulk paint? I charge by the hour. That's how I quote my jobs. And then obviously it depends what sort of standard they want painted up. That will determine how long it takes to paint. Andrew looks amazing. Your mum, absolute beauty. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys. What model holder, I should say, is that? It's the Citadel one from Games Workshop. Just the basic one, the kind of little one, because I know you can get a big one. Definitely not the big one. Sorry, painting off screen. There we go. That's better. We are almost there, guys. Nearly finished. Let's highlight up a little bit on his chest, I reckon, as well. There we go. Got a little bit more crisp. And hopefully, still not dried. Let me see if I can turn my fan up in this room. That might help dry quicker. And then we have one finished Necron. Woohoo! How good. Yep. Getting there. Nearly done. Carrie, this made me realize I need to paint my abandoned Necrons. Yes, you must resurrect them from their pile of shame, which has become their tomb world. Can't leave them hanging, all grey and sad. Okay, I'm going to pile of opportunities indeed. I love the optimism. So, clear up some of the room here. What we're going to do is use these two pigment powders once this bloody thing dries. We're going to use brown iron oxide and is this dark red ochre as well. Are the two pigment powders we're going to use, and this will be the result. Something super basic, but that's what the client wants. So we shall do what the client says. But yeah, I do like it though. I think a Martian Mars looking base is always a good look. I need to build my Hellblasters, but really hate cables. Yeah, cables can be annoying, that is for sure. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. It's looking snazzy. Awesome job. Thank you for those kind words. Giga Chad, painting at 6 PM instead of midnight. Hey, that's new. Yeah, it is. It's new. How long have we been live? We've already been live for about an hour and a half. Probably going to wrap up the session. I got to go have some dinner. But I really wanted to finish the base, but Old Mate is just taking too long to dry. Like, seriously. It's kind of ruining the vibe here. Yeah, not sure what the go is here. So I've got my fan pumped. I'm gonna like hold it up to the ceiling to try and like dry it a little quicker. So maybe that might work. And while I do that, so you guys aren't staring at nothingness, to get rid of the Heresy Grim, how about we have a look at a little Black Templar that I painted up a while back, but I'm very proud of my little Black Templar and his very unique yellow gun. There you go. Less heresy now. That was kind of working actually. Look at that. It's kind of dried a little bit. Looks stupid, but it's working. What else I've got on the hobby desk, just while we're waiting for Old Mate to dry, are these two Deathwing, which we've pretty much finished. Happy with them both. We've got probably about a dozen more to paint up as another commission piece. Yeah. So, happy with those. Andrew, what prime did I use on the Black Templar? Painted up a while ago. I think it was just black, say like Chaos Black primer. Now one of my favorites is called Berserker. Love him because he was so simple to paint. Yeah, very simple to paint that dude. How's Old Mate going? Nearly dry. I did have a whole bunch more models that I could show you, but I put them in my local game store in their display cabinet the other day. So no longer have them on me. They are defending the Emperor in a cabinet on display. Such a clean model, no snags, those trims. Thanks, Gary. And have I painted any Thousand Suns? I have not painted any Thousand Suns, unfortunately. It's one of the factions that have eluded me. War Painter, white is perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it, my friend. I'm also painting this up. It's a Major Mini from Major Minis. I don't know if any of you know Major Kill, but he's got these line of 3D printed models. I was thinking of painting this up and then maybe entering it in his painting competition. But we shall see if I get around to finishing that up. What do you say? I'm just gonna full send it, I reckon. It's kind of dry enough. What's the worst that can happen? We will find out. I'm not gonna let you wait any longer. So, let's crack on open our darker red pigment powder. What the hell is this? Bit of fluff. Alright. Scatter it all over the base. Yeah, that works. So, see, it's kind of a bit of paint getting on the brush, but that's alright. Just put on more pigment powder and it'll dry it up. Kind of want to hit his little leg bits as well. Kind of blends it into the environment where possible. Go a bit too hard, you can just wipe it away. So that's looking alright. It's probably enough for that. Get rid of that. Go for the brighter color now. And as we said, we're going to use dark red ochre for that. Now I don't want to cover the entire base with it. I just kind of want to be a little bit more selective with it. Just to add, it adds a kind of a bit of variation when you do that rather than overpowering the previous layer. Like that. And then, for the final step, kind of seal in the pigments. And also, like it seals it in if you start gaming with them so they don't fly away as much. But it kind of brings out the black base coat that we did earlier. And what you do here is use some odorless thinner. Well, you mean any thinner, but I like the odorless one so you don't smell all the disgusting fumes all the time. Still not good for you, but at least it's not as smelly. I use this little pipette thing. I don't know how you say it, but this thing. And literally add just a couple of drops to the base. Like so. So this will help cement in those pigments where they are. And bring out a little bit of that base coat, the darker base coat that we had. And it will look very dark for now, but give it a little bit and it will dry back to that matte finish, but your pigments will be nice, safe and sound. So if you look at the difference, like this was also hit with the same thing. You see it'll dry like the ride once it's finished. It'll end up looking exactly like that. It's just doing its thing at the moment. So clean up the rim, and we are so very close to having this guy fully finished. So I'm going to wipe away the pigment overspill. Get it as much out the way as I can. This techniques are not known for me. Is this Dark Age technology? It is. Now you probably hear other painters talk about pigment powder fix or pigment fixer. Like you don't need to buy that. Just use your thinner and it will do the exact same effect. Like you don't need to buy the specific product for adhering pigments. So last but not least, we need to rim this Necron. And I'm just going to use my standard black for that. Mara, what is that? It is a Necron Scorpec Destroyer from Warhammer 40,000. And you can join us while we give it a good rim. Alright, let's do it. Pillowcase is back. Loving the glow. Thank you, my friend. You've come back just in time to see us finish off the model. It's one of the most satisfying steps in all of painting, is painting the black rim. Now that, my friends, is a finished model. Obviously the base will continue to dry and it will look a bit more dusty when it does, but let's get a close up on it now, just because I have the ability to do so. This is what he looks like. Nice close up on our Necron. Couple of glow effects, couple of blending with the blades. This bad boy is ready for combat. Hell yeah. So he can join his brother in arms over here. And that's, as I said, side by side, the base will look exactly like this once it's done drying. Someone probably could go back in and work on those glow effects a bit more. It's probably not as vibrant as this one. I quite like it a little bit more vibrant actually, so maybe I might do that. I think this one's actually kind of looking a bit better with that glow effect. So let's see how close I can zoom in. Let's go even further. Oh boy, Jesus Christ, that's close. No, now you're going to start seeing the imperfections. So let's get back out of that. We don't want to go that close. No, thank you. Too close. There we go. That's better. Mara Bond it is. This is a game that we play on the tabletop. We also like to paint. Andrew, I just saw that rose. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for the gumdrop buttons. Pillowcase got my local store to order me an Orc Combat Patrol ready to paint some boys. Wow, hell yeah, love it, dude. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate the kind words. For the glow, you get another rose for the bros. Thank you. Appreciate it, Pillowcase. Zeva, can you still play Warhammer if you get another? If you're not good at painting for figurines? Of course you can. A lot of people play with unpainted armies. Yeah, you can't not play just because they're not painted. Tournaments are different. I think you need to have painted armies for tournaments, but who cares about that when you're playing with friends? Just do whatever you want. Gabagool, greetings from Texas. What time is it where you are? It's 1:30 a.m. here. Whoa, that's late. It is 6:30 p.m. here in Sydney, Australia. That's going to do it for me at the moment, guys. I have some dinner to go cook up and then eat. I may come back online later tonight. But that's one Necron Scorpec Destroyer finished. So thank you for coming along on that ride. See you a little bit later on if you're around. Thank you for joining me. Do appreciate it. I have a Discord. I can't post it in TikTok, unfortunately, but I can post it on YouTube. And you can check it out through my links in bio if you ever want to join. Drop your works in progress, your finished models, chat hobby, all that sort of stuff you can do in that. Carrie, as in the UK, didn't realize it was so late for you. Just woken up 7:30 in the morning. Sunday for you, I think. You got a whole day ahead of you. My Sunday's coming to an end. All right, guys. Thank you. I shall see you hopefully a little bit later if you're around. Adios. Appreciate it. Bye, guys.